Sweet.
Okay, well, welcome back to Speedrun Ragnarok, hosted by the RPG Valkyries, and supporting Take This. Up next is StarTropics by Von Ivan. Before we get to there, we have a little thing that we have to make sure we go over, and that's the file name for Vani. And just before the bid war closes, we got a $6 donation from Kios's Little Monster, and the file name will be Big Vani.
Yo. Shout outs to my man Kios. Thank you, dude. So we got Vani and we got Big Vani on this file.
And real quick, we did have a $10 donation from Bug Dr come in that said, "Let's go, Vani."
Yo, thank you, Bug Doctor. Appreciate it.
Good guy.
So before we get started, I want to introduce who's going to be doing commentary for us. That's going to be Terex.
Hi.
Terex is one of the better speedrunners of this game, as well as someone who made an extremely exhaustive tutorial that was crucial for me to learn this game. And so I owe him a lot of big thanks and props for allowing me to actually get to the point where I could speedrun this in a marathon. So thank you for that, sir. I appreciate it.
Thanks for actually using that and actually letting me know that it was of use, because that was
no, dude, it was awesome.
That's exciting.
Awesome.
To know that people actually use those.
Alrighty. So how are we looking? Are we ready to go? Can I get started? Bueller.
Yeah, I'm guessing so.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right. So the way that this normally works is you have a timer that counts down like 9 seconds here because you start on control, but I didn't have that set up. So we'll just go ahead and say I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1, now.
That works. So yeah, StarTropics. The game kind of has 2 different parts to it. The first are these overworld sections, and then there's the dungeon sections. In the overworld, we have to talk to specific people to set off a trigger. Right now, we have to go through a staircase, and there's a guard in front of it. And it only clears after you've talked to specific people in the village. Now, you don't have to talk to everybody, but just the certain ones that cause the trigger. Game sound is pretty delayed.
Yeah.
I can't control that. But I can let you know that we're going to use a yo-yo to kill everything in this game.
Yes, because we are an ace pitcher.
Yes.
Mike Jones.
Mike Jones. So, Mike Jones is a teenager in high school, and his uncle is researching in the tropics, and he gets abducted by aliens just the night before you arrive, wouldn't you know it? And yeah, so the village chief gives you a yo-yo to deal with it. Because, you know, who wouldn't use a yo-yo to kill things? Now we get onto the first dungeon of the game. What's really interesting about how this game functions is everything in the game can be buffered. So all of his inputs that he's going to be, for the majority, I should say, of what he's going to be doing here. I just barely missed it. He's going to be trying to buffer all of his inputs ahead of time. You know, every jump, every turn that he does while he's jumping, etc. Every double attack that he does, you know, he'll throw out the yo-yo once and then hold down the button a second time while it's still out, and it'll automatically throw the yo-yo out a second time on the first frame possible. So that's pretty much what the whole run does. This includes the text boxes in the overworld, so everything can be buffered, which makes it really fun. There's not a lot going on in the first dungeon. Most of the dungeons you'll have to just clear out with some sort of condition. Usually it's kill all enemies, but sometimes it's a switch. Or only kills certain enemies. Here we'll see the instance of another weapon. It'll get a little bit of use. There's not too many extra weapons that'll get much use in this game that the game actually has to offer, but here we have the fireballs that deal a little bit of extra damage. They are, however, slower to throw out than the yo-yo. So that's why you'll see him swap back and forth to the yo-yo for certain things.
All right, Snake, be
Now-
nice.
Time for the hardest boss in the game, right here. Oh man, what? So much work. So much work involved there. So, the first boss of the game, you don't have to fight whatsoever. And that was a fantastic pattern, by the way. How long the snake moves back and forth is random. Then he can open his mouth and he either shoots out fireballs or he doesn't shoot out anything, which is also random. So you need to hopefully have him open his mouth quickly, and then that he shoots out fireballs. And when he does that, you can damage boost across him and just finish without actually having to fight him. Wow, you've done it.
I know. Holy crap, you actually finished it.
Get used to that phrase. You're something that you're going to see a lot.
Yep.
This is Navcom. Has no relation to any other robots.
No. Go for it, Kyo. I'm cool with it. Yeah, he knows Team Graveyard, dude. We're in the crew. All right, so this is the beginning of Chapter 2. Here comes one of the most wholesome characters in the game, Mama Dolphin.
Agreed.
Shoutouts to Zarek. He's a fellow StarTropics speedrunner who has an affinity for especially the boy dolphin.
So there's a very small bit of speed tech here that you can do with the tunnels as you go through them. If you press A right before you go through them, it sends you through a few frames faster. For some reason.
Yeah, it's strange.
Now, there is one single tunnel later on where it actually delays you instead, and it makes you panic because it looks like your game freezes, but it's only one instance of that.
So there's an interesting bit of tech here where you have a yes or no question that it will ask you, and you want to make sure that no repeats. Because the question is, do you want to read this letter again? And you can keep saying yes in an endless loop. Not that I've ever done that before. So yeah, just now there's one part in the end of chapter 6 where if you goof that up, it wastes a ton of time.
I've definitely lost runs to that.
Yeah.
So we're on to chapter 2. This stage has a lot more narrow pathways in it in comparison. You also get a first instance of disappearing blocks. Now, the disappearing blocks are somewhat deceptive as to like how much time you actually have to stand on them. If you're buffering your inputs, you can jump on something that makes it look like you would have died, but have been totally safe because of that buffered input. You should see an instance of that coming up here. These octots are...
Oh, shoot. That totally threw
All
off
right.
my time.
Yeah, so
No,
now I have
not
to
the
wait.
Octot, not you.
Yeah, I know. The octot threw it off, so it, having two of them there, the octots are random, so having two of them there was pretty unfortunate to have to try and react to.
Yeah, that's actually a theme. There's a lot of places where we want to avoid having enemies stack, especially mummies. Oh boy.
Yeah, and we'll get to mummies later on. So here you'll get to see the one and only use of the baseball bat in the entire game.
Hey, there it is.
I hope you liked it.
Because Mike is an ace pitcher, so of course he knows how to use a bat, right?
Of course.
Oh, come on. There we go.
Now, a lot of these enemies that are random often have some predictive movement, especially the ones that jump around from tile to tile, like these octots. And there'll be a lot of reskinned enemies in the game. Later on, we'll see those octots as skulls, for example. But you can kind of predict them. If they're facing to the right, they will either move up or right on their next action, and then if they're facing left, they'll either move down or left on their next action. So it allows you to at least figure out where they're headed in some ways. Like here, we're on a straight path, so depending on which way they're facing, you can tell where they're, if you're gonna have to chase them down or not. So there's the boy dolphin. We're just gonna ditch him and fight a rather large octopus.
Scala, I've heard of a pinch hitter, but a pitch hitter specifically, no.
Ooh, I hope you get it. Yeah, good call. So you can one cycle Octo the Huge. There were two parts to that kind of prevented it. First was he decided to move forward at an inopportune time while Vani was out of the way, away from the tile that he moved down to. And then when you're watching him fight him, you actually don't want to mash the button. And if you go too fast, as you see it a couple of times in there, it interrupted the attacks from being consistent. So if you try to go as fast as possible, it's not going to quite work. You have to time it instead. But if you get that, you can get a one cycle on it pretty nicely.
So whenever you're ready for some puns, just
Yeah,
let me know.
we're done with the chapter.
Yeah, go for it. This is a good time.
Okay, we'll start with the first one. I don't think I get this one. Kios donates $1 saying, "Dad, did you get a haircut?" "No, I got them all cut." I think that one went over my head. Okay, how about
Did you get a single
Kios once
haircut
again
versus all of them?
with a $1 donation? "Why don't eggs tell jokes? They crack each other up."
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, Kios with another $1 donation. "I don't trust stairs. They're always up to something."
This is true. Always plotting.
He's been busy, by the way. We got a $2 donation from Kios. "Why can't a nose be 12 inches long?" "Because then it would be a foot."
No denying that logic.
So chapter 3. But
So
no,
chapter
this
3.
is this is by far the longest chapter in the game. We're gonna go through 5 dungeons, and when you're trying to speed run for PBs and whatnot, this is where your run can go several directions, and that direction was right into that dodo bird, and that is not a good start for me.
That's right. You got some hearts you can pick up later.
Yeah, I do.
So the dodos are semi-random. They do move around randomly, but you can slightly influence them if you walk near them or in their sight. They are more likely to walk towards you, but it isn't guaranteed. Now, the monkeys here, they are 100% random, and they are awful in every way. You can lose so much time to the monkeys here, and in the next room with the monkeys, just because of where they decide to jump to at the time.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah,
Heart drop. That was fortunate.
Yeah, heart drops are actually kind of rare. You also notice that there's a star symbol down at the bottom there. If you collect 5 stars in a stage, then it equates to a heart. Get to see our next weapon usage of the bolas. Good. So this game, as for a casual playthrough, is very, very cruel. It is not an easy game to clear.
No.
Neither StarTropics games are, actually. They are both difficult games. Also difficult to run, in my opinion. But as you can see, the lights turned off there, and you had, a half second to realize, wait, I had to jump on a certain tile in that and then blindly go in. Yeah. So luckily we know where to go, so that isn't an issue, but certainly can be for a casual player.
So this is another section, like in Chapter 1, where we're just talking to a bunch of people so that we can talk to the chief and progress. So, High Spirits, if you have any more donations or blurbs or anything like that, this would be a good time.
Sure, I got one more donation that Kios gave in, and that's a $50 donation from Kios.
Oh snap!
What do you call someone with no body and no nose? Nobody knows. Also, I am the law. Deal with it, Lee. And Kios gave all of those donations to naming Setsuna, and I am Setsuna, the law, putting it in the lead over Lena currently.
Thank you very much for all your donations, Kios. Shoutouts.
So this is Miracola. As we said, it's just like the first chapter. This, unfortunately, this town makes you talk to nearly every single person inside of it.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of people that you have to talk to, I'll point it out when we walk by her. So in Chapter 1, we talked to a little girl in a blue dress who was the twin sister of this girl in the blue dress. And you have to talk to her, but you have to tell this girl here in Miracola that she's cuter than her twin sister. Otherwise, you don't get credit for it.
Yep.
There's like a question. That's another instance of when you have to buffer right when you're pressing A in order to get the right choice there. So literally, you have to, in order to progress, you have to tell her she's cute.
If you don't, she just has an ellipsis and you're stuck.
Yeah, she gets rather meh.
Also, we were required to talk to the chief's daughter, who has been put under a spell, who's asleep. You know, had to talk to her. Very important. Here we're just getting a damage boost because jumping over every single set of snakes is really slow. And again, game is kind of cruel for casual players. You just have this super dark room and have to guess where things are at. The clue in that is where the Octot is jumping to. They have it set up to where he just jumps across on the 2 or 3 tiles, and you have to memorize where those are at. So it's kind of cool how they do it, but also really difficult, like on your first playthrough.
All right, let's see if I get the switch back here, Terex. That's the easy.
Yeah.
One. Come on,
This
baby,
is
let's do it.
this is the one.
Ah, dang it! I was too early.
Ah, dang. So if you do it just right, you can turn around while you land onto that staircase before it transitions, and you save 4 frames for doing that. But if you miss it, you lose a second.
Okay.
It's okay. You'll have another opportunity to do one later.
Oh, I have a couple more. Yeah. The vertical one is even tougher.
I think that one's the easier one.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
I seem to get the horizontal one a lot more. So I just assumed it was tougher.
And it's either controller difference or just personal preference for no reason. In theory, they're the same. So this boss up here is pretty unique in that you never attack him. It's interesting watching new players get to this boss because they'll spend several minutes just attacking the boss without getting anywhere. But once they realize that you don't actually have to do that, they get through pretty quickly.
No damage. Beautiful.
That's actually quite important. So as we said, there are 5 dungeons in this game. That means health does not refill in between each dungeon, so making sure that your health is up by a certain point is quite important.
Here's the easy one. Come on.
Did we get it?
Hey, got it.
Hey, see, told you the vertical one's easier.
Oh, yeah. I shouldn't have doubted you, man.
So four frames saved. Wow, you've done it.
You've done the switchback.
So we're gonna skip a bit of the story here. The game wants you to go to Shikola right there. We're just gonna skip over that. You go over there and find out that the witch behind Shikola has lost her crystal ball in the graveyard, and you can't enter Shikola because Shikola only lets women in. So we have to go find the crystal ball so that we can get our fortune read and see what the witch, I guess you could say, or the fortune teller can do for us. So the graveyard here is pretty much the gateway to getting a run started.
I'm just gonna sit here and hide from these dogs.
Yeah, not a
Because
bad call.
They're just awful. That was an instance of enemies stacking and just giving me no chance. It can happen here too, and it does. Jeez. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh,
In a
boy.
situation like that, if you end up jumping right before they get to you, you can actually buffer all the inputs in time, but it's a little tricky if you're not used to it.
Oh,
So
boy.
there's,
Okay.
like I said earlier, this game is quite cruel. So you're going to see some rather odd movements happening in some of these rooms. That's because they have invisible ghosts, and they give you something to reveal them, but they don't tell you that initially. And for us, getting and using that item is slow, so we're just gonna time our movement through here and hope that we get through it quickly instead by dodging them.
Yes. There we go. That was super
Perfect.
important, 'cause I
Yes.
went too hard.
That room is like stupidly hard
Oh!
to get used to. Wow, that was really bad luck and really uncommon. I've never
Wow.
seen them both go over like that ever, actually.
Yeah.
So that random jump right in there was also because there's a ghost moving back and forth.
How do I get into this room here?
It's one way, and there's a ghost down there, so I would suggest just continuing because the checkpoint's the next room. Yeah, you will die if you go for those.
Yeah.
Whereas if you
Never
go right here,
even
you have a
tried.
checkpoint.
All right. Well, we're just gonna try and power our way through here.
Yep.
All right.
I'm gonna be quiet for a sec. Good.
Perfect.
Okay. So, getting through that isn't particularly difficult, but there is a slight audio cue to it. In that room, you can hear a tile plunging down into the water, and they usually require you to go get a lamp going off on another path, but that's two rooms down, really slow. No need to do that when you know what to do otherwise. So if you just go through the pattern or through these rooms without stopping, then you can get through it guaranteed each time with all the buffers. All right, got it again. Easy.
That's where I wanted him. Oh, not over there. Come on.
Yeah, bad spawns.
Yeah.
Well, the first spawn was like the god spawn, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, scary boss music, Skull. We're just gonna jump out here and we're done.
Yep. Another cruel thing. This level is where probably 90% of people ended their gameplay of it on their casual playthrough. Because the level has several false exits to it.
Yeah.
They all look the same, and you just have to figure it out. And if you exit, you have to start from the beginning of the dungeon again, which usually throws people too far off from wanting to play it again.
So here's the demonstration of that rod item that we picked up, revealing the ghost. Now we have to
Yeah.
do this here because, obviously, in order to make these walls explode so that we can progress, we have to kill all the enemies in the room. Tried it there. Didn't work. Gotta pick up this mirror item. We will be using it immediately. Hopefully I don't get pinched in by enemies here. I'm just gonna play that safe. Done no interest in
that
that.
was that was good spawns right there for this last 3. That was
Okay,
really
now
good.
this next room is awful.
You just got to make sure you don't kill the bottom 2. Kill all the other ones except the bottom 2 that are moving towards each other. So as long as you can keep track of those 2, then you know which ones you have to kill.
Shit.
Okay,
Okay,
only
good.
got 1 or 2 hits left. There you go.
I tried to squeeze that in there. That was ill-advised. I do not have a lot of life for the rest of this here, which is not making me too comfortable, but whatever.
Yeah. Just take the fight slow and should be cool.
Oh, get over here.
Yeah. An example of the randomness not working in our favor. So here's actually where the boss is. You don't know until you just kind of figure out, oh, I should use one of these, and then you have a big ghost suddenly. This is Maxi. And I believe how Maxi moves is kind of just random. So hopefully you get her to just stay in one corner so you can unload the bolas onto her.
And then once it gets to critical health, then it will just...
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness.
All right,
Okay,
good job.
Then,
Good job.
once it gets to critical health, then he'll just go back and forth.
Yeah.
But the fact that I left here with at least 2 hearts is very important.
Yes, it is. There'll be a slight time loss for not having 4 hearts, but that's like a second of time loss. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Someone in chat saying that looks like it could get out of control fast, and that is very, very true. That fight is rather nerve-wracking.
So now that we've drained the lake, you know, because you know who wouldn't drain a lake suddenly after they've found a new place to go to? We're gonna pick up the crystal ball that the old lady lost while she was here. Fun fact, if you go down those stairs, you can pick up a big heart. The big hearts on the overworlds give you an extra heart to use in the dungeons, but there's no point in ever getting them, because at the end of every dungeon, they give it to you anyway. So...
In every chapter.
excuse me, yes, every chapter, not every dungeon. So yeah, there's no point in actually ever getting them, because by the end of the game, you will 100% have full health. So...
I would have considered getting it there on the way back from the graveyard if I had less than 2 hearts. Just for marathon safety. In an actual run, no.
Sure.
But fortunately, I have the 2 hearts, so we're good.
So now we're going to enter Shikola. The old lady put on a disguise for us, so that we look like a girl and stuff. And we sneakily head on into Shikola and talk to the queen.
The music in this cutscene is great, and it's
Yes.
sad that this is the only place you ever hear it.
Yeah, it is.
But this is the important part of what we're doing here, is we're getting an upgrade to our yo-yo. We now have the shooting star. However, in order to actually have the shooting star at your disposal, you need to have at least 6 hearts of health, which is why it was so important for me to leave there with 2 hearts, because I'm going to get 4 hearts in the very beginning of this next dungeon, and so I'll have the shooting star to get through it, as well as the next dungeon. So this just makes life a whole lot easier. This dungeon is extremely brief, but again, having the
Shooting star, yes.
yeah, Scarlet, yes. Boy, if I had a fire wand, well, I kind of did have a fire wand in chapter 1.
A bit of it, yeah.
So we were told by that after I talked to the queen, I went over and I talked to that purple warrior, and she told us to jump up and down 10 times and shout abracadabra, and everything is all good. And that's how we get to this next section.
So yeah, this
I
weapon
don't
is
think I
very
heard
important.
you say abracadabra.
You didn't. Unfortunately.
He does in the remake.
The remake that is absolutely coming.
Yes.
Just gotta believe.
All right, let's see if I do this right. Ah, I was too early. Dude, this Octot will not die.
That was admittedly a strange pattern for him to just stick to the wall.
Yeah.
The room is really interesting. Like, depending on where you walk, is spawns the mud skippers.
Yeah.
So you can spawn the first 3 just based on the way that you walk around it, and you can kill all 3 of them really fast, and then kill the last one as you exit, basically.
Matrix Octot, nice.
Yeah.
Now, that's an example of, in order to blow open the wall, you don't have to kill all enemies, just one in particular. There's several rooms like that, so knowing what that enemy is a great time save, so you're not wasting your time killing. Where are you going? Where are you going?
Oh, I know what happened. You walked sideways from him as you both were on a passing tile, so he never saw you to actually charge at you.
I've never had that happen, like, legitimately.
So yeah, as you've seen, the game is a grid based, and it does like suck you onto the tile after you've started walking onto it. So once you walk on there, you either go onto that tile or you walk back the way you came onto the previous tile. And so in that case right there, both the enemy and he were in the passing part of a tile, and so it never saw him in order to charge at him like it normally would.
I'm glad I waited for that.
Yep, that is always something that I wait for. I'll
I
take
get
the
killed
half-second loss.
so often in this room.
The Frappas are a nightmare.
Don't need any hearts, which is nice.
Yeah. And thanks to buffering right here, right from the beginning, you can just straight up run through this area, even though you have disappearing blocks, and not even have to worry about it. So now we're just going to kind of jump back and forth and wait for these Frappas to appear. We have to kill 2 of them, but when they appear is kind of random. Here we just have to kill the middle eyeball. It's the one that just moved downward, yep. And you've kept all your health. That's actually really, really good for the upcoming enemies, the big bullies. Big bullies take 11 hits normally, but now I think they'll take 8, if I remember right.
I think it's only 6.
Is it 6? All right. 6. Thank you, Hobo Jim.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. He gave me the crappy pattern there. You don't want him to walk down. You'd rather have him walk left. So that way you don't actually have to kill him. You just need to make that switch appear. But he essentially walks right on top of the switch. When he starts by going down, which he seems to do often. Alrighty, just one more screen or one more room, and then we are done with dungeons in chapter 3.
So usually, usually you can see in the dungeons, like if there's a hidden wall because there's a shadow, and that's where you see a tunnel. In this case, there isn't one, and you just kind of have to guess. Otherwise, if you go in this dungeon and you don't go through that hidden wall there, you just go around in a circle, and the other doors lead to the center there without actually getting you to the fountain.
Yeah, and I mean, casually, what's supposed to happen is you're supposed to get into the other parts of that room, and then you see that fountain, you're like, oh yeah, I should probably just brute force my way into that from the other side.
Mm-hmm. So now we ran all the way back, and we're going to wake up Benonette. It's a Miracola. So now that we have done all of that, these islanders who don't have very much technology have repaired our submarine perfectly. You know, easy work.
Video game logic.
I mean, we're going to save our uncle from aliens with a yo-yo, so I mean, why not?
This is true.
So this is chapter 4. This is everyone's favorite chapter. There is no question of this.
High spirits. This is a wonderful time for donations and blur.
Yes, this is a wonderful time for donations.
Well, I wouldn't want to, deprive everyone of chapter 4. Come on.
I mean, it's true. You're gonna get the best music, the best dungeon, everything. Like everything about this chapter is the best. You just saw Tuna Cola. You got to talk to Bait. We go back to our submarine, and we're just gonna casually head on over here and get eaten by a whale.
This is some good commentary. See, you're getting a good play-by-play for this. Well, I don't have any donations, but I can remind everyone that we are Speedrun Ragnarok, being hosted by the RPG of Valkyries. And who are the RPG Valkyries? Well, they are an inclusive group of female and female-leaning speedrunners who all love and run RPGs. And if you'd like to join their Discord, make sure you do the !point Discord link in chat. And the Discord is open to all genders and all people, and there's lots of friends and family in there. And also, you should also check out the merch command, because there is some swag and some shirts and some goodies that you can get. That all goes to support Take This, everything, to help out this great cause.
Now you're really feeling the chapter 4. All this great music right here. Oh yeah.
Indeed.
And follow Big Vani Van also. He plays great RPGs, especially ones that inspired games like StarTropics.
Yeah, exactly. See? High Spirits knows what's up. All right, so what we glossed over was the story here where Babu, who you met at the end of chapter 1, who is your uncle's assistant, he got swallowed by the whale as well. And he said, how are we going to get out of here? And he looks at the raft and says, oh, hey, let's light it on fire and make the whale sneeze. And he says, oh, shoot, I had the lighter, but it must be lost somewhere. Let's go find it. And by let's, he means you get in the sub and go fetch it.
Yeah.
And that's just what we've done.
The other bit of the story is at the end of chapter 1, he has some extra info, but he was too afraid to tell you, which he's actually gotten the courage to come and tell you, which is why he's out here in the first place and got swallowed by the whale. So after we get out of here, he'll actually end up telling us that info. There's also, coming up here, a code that we have to put in that was kind of an early way to lock people who are trying to hack the game for free into playing it, preventing them from finishing the game. So we have to input this code, a 3-digit code, 747. And the only way that you could have known this code is if you had the physical letter that came with the game. There's a letter that his uncle writes to Mike. Steve is his name, excuse me. Couldn't think of it for a second. He writes it to Mike, and you have to dip the letter in water, and in that it'll reveal the 747 on there. So here's chapter 5. Chapter 5 does have a dungeon to it. It has a very long overworld section to begin with first. We have to go all the way over here to the right side, and we're going to have to come back here again later. But first we have to come to this hut, talk to this guy to give us a worm. He wants to know if we want to know how to fish. So he gives us a worm for bait. If you say no, there's a Easter egg. He asks if you are Nestor. So shout out to Nintendo Power. Piracy protection. Thank you. That's the words I was looking for. I couldn't think of it. Granted, it's 1 a.m., so give me a break.
Yeah, right.
Also, that tunnel that you just went through, that is the one tunnel that I mentioned earlier that you do not want to press A to get that little extra boost. For some reason, it'll like delay it for a couple of seconds, and it's rather terrifying because it looks like your game locks up.
Yeah. Oh, don't walk away from me.
Yeah, the piracy protection caused an issue for any place that had a rental for it because they often got rid of that. And so anybody who rented the game couldn't finish it. A lot of them then just had it written on a piece of paper that they would package with it, of course, but not all of them knew that initially. So again, we just need to talk to several specific villagers before we can talk to the chieftain here.
Alrighty, so now that we've talked to the chief, now we can go and talk to the
Peter.
jerk bird. Peter. So what he says here at the end, do me so far, do me. It's not as lewd as it sounds. It's actually what's called solfege, which is a way of just kind of using syllables to denote pitches in a musical scale. And what we're going to be doing in just a minute is we're going to be playing Captain Bell's organ. And we're going to do so by... You guys remember the movie Big? When he went to the department store and he was like stepping on the keyboard and playing chopsticks and whatnot? We're kind of going to do that, except we're going to do it in that particular pattern. Now, do mi so fa do mi is the note C, E, G, F, C, E in that order. And you have to step on those keys in order to progress. So here we go. So we're going to do C, E, G, F, C, there we go.
There we go. You do actually need to be careful when going through that, because if you mess it up a single time, the only way you can start it over is if you exit and come back in.
Big time loss.
So that's a really big time loss if you mess it up.
Chapter 5 boss defeated. Oh man, I wish.
That's true, because we don't have a boss in this chapter.
Yeah.
So what's the closest
But what
thing
we
you're
do
gonna get?
have is the dungeon in chapter 5, and the theme of this one
I like
is
this dungeon.
traps.
Yeah. So rather than a whole bunch of enemies necessarily, the whole theme of it is just, as you said, traps. So here we're gonna have a lot of falling out floors, for example.
Oh, whoops. Oh no, I didn't need to do. Oh well.
Okay, I actually didn't know that. I thought it was based on a timer.
No.
Apparently, it is based on a certain tile after you get across the room. So he just needs to pick up 2 sets of hearts here in order to get the Morning Star again. I keep forgetting if it's Morning Star or Shooting Star. I think it's Shooting Star.
Alrighty. So this part is a little goofy. You have to step on this tile here that's invisible, and then you sink down into here, and then take these stairs to get over to the right-hand side here.
Shooting Star is not the third one. That's a Supernova.
Say again?
Supernova is the third. Someone from chat was
Oh,
asking
yes.
for the...
You're talking to someone. Oh my god, I got stuck there. That really stinks.
It does, yeah. There will be some other heart pickups though, so it's not too big of a deal.
I know.
That's the unfortunate thing about running this game. It does a bit of getting used to on how to control Mike. because of that grid movement, of how it like sucks you onto the tile you're on, you have to hold down the directional button for a split second before he actually moves. And so what happened there is that he just kind of got stuck thinking he had moved when he hadn't quite held it down. Needed another frame or two on it before he actually moved. So it's a little tricky to get used to based on that.
At least I didn't get trolled
Yeah,
by the pirates.
That was a really good pattern, yeah.
What am I doing? Glad I did that.
So here we just need to kill the snakes and not the bat. Bat's just an annoyance. Here we need to kill the dodo birds. There is a half-second time save you can do in this with the green bowling ball. If you go to the center and if you hit the bowling balls, they actually freeze in place. And if you hit the green one like at the exact right time, it's a frame-perfect trick. You can move past it and save half a second, but if you touch the green or any of the bowling balls, they kill you instantly, whether they're moving or stationary. So it's not worth ever going for that.
It's the only other time we use the rod.
Yeah, Scepter's out. Here we can just damage boost on one of the balls instead of shooting both of them across, which makes it way more manageable.
No. There we go.
There'll be more hearts still as well, so...
Yeah, so we'll be good here. I did that jump right there on the hearts to buffer my movement so that that sinking stone would work.
So the red bowling ball is the scary one because it follows you relentlessly instead of, you know, going all the way back and forth. But we just got one more room left in this dungeon. This one we do have to kill everything in it. 3 of the ghost pirates and the 2 snakes.
Alright, then we're done.
We go in and we're gonna get this wheel turned. So the village that we're in, based on a British pirate, and his ship is now stuck in between here. So we are sinking pretty much the basis of their village right now. We are good people.
Alrighty, so we stand here and we just wait forever for this ship to sink.
America.
Yeah, America.
This is totally the America song, not God Save the Queen, because it was a British pirate.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of the United States of America, this is actually a unique NES title in that it did not initially have a Japanese release.
It never did, yeah. Yeah, this game was made for the US audience specifically, and it was made actually. And they did a fantastic job. God Save America, exactly. You got it right. So, yeah, it was only released in America, and StarTropics 2, or the StarTropics 1 did get released in Europe, but StarTropics 2 never released anywhere in America, so it was quite interesting.
Yeah. So this is chapter do by far the lengthy outside of the whale, the motoring I'm wasting maze casually, but luckily we know where to go. Hey, I'm doing my part, Conkers. You know me, man.
And StarTropics being the only thing not being released in Japan is why Mike Jones will never get his chance at Smash. Sadly.
Yeah.
Oh well. We can dream of StarTropics 3. So, as you saw right there, there was a hint that Navcom gives you. In certain areas, certain tiles that you go over, he tells you, I'm getting a signal of your uncle. Follow it in this direction.
Yep.
And-
We say bye-bye to the sub. This is the last time we will ever use it or even see it.
Mhm. Here we go into the darkness and light.
Yep. Alrighty, so this is the first of 2 dungeons in Chapter 6.
This is a fun chapter. A lot of cool stuff to it. So here we get, I forget what it's called, the wing boots or something.
The anklet.
But anklet, okay, yeah. It allows you to jump 2 tile wide gaps, but it's only for that current screen that you're on.
Okay. Don't.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I thought I hit it 5 times. Oh boy. Yeah, if you get caught up in these mummies, then it's bad news.
So as you saw there, he only needs to kill the purple ones. But if you get kind of the wrong patterns coming from the blue ones, it makes it really tricky to navigate through there. Here we need to kill all the Octots. We're going to try and hit this one on the right and hope that it works first try. Okay, second, that's fine. You don't want to keep mashing it if it hasn't worked the first couple of times because it's frame-based. So if you keep mashing it and, buffering it on the first frame possible, it'll... Yeah, I forgot that was there.
Yeah, you're like, oh, Bonnie, what are you doing?
Yeah, I was like, why? Because I know of a different strat where you just jump on the blue tile to kill all the mummies instead, which is really tricky.
I want the medicine.
Yeah, that's fine. And that's
Yeah.
a good marathon safety.
Yeah, exactly.
This right here, Giant Turbos, is a giant jerk. He is also a reskin of Octo the Huge, as you can tell why he is a giant jerk.
Oh my god, I jumped the wrong way. What am I doing? Well, this will be at least 2 cycles.
Yeah, and again, you can one cycle it based on the fact that you have the shooting star.
Yeah.
If you don't have the shooting star, there's no possible way to one cycle it.
Please tell me I kill it here. Thank you. Oh.
Yeah. Hey, not too bad still, as far as getting the anklet goes, because the anklet pauses, your movement for a second. So what you want to try and do is kill the Turbos on the right side of the screen so that while it's dying, you can grab the anklet and the game continues without you having to stop. Because it'll happen during the cutscene, basically, of him dying.
Yeah, getting hit at that boss, if you don't have the medicine as backup, is an enormous time waste because it drops you down to the yo-yo at that point.
Yeah.
All right, these are the most broken weapon in the game, the cleats.
Fantastic. They hit everything on the screen once. So it's really, really handy in an upcoming room.
Yeah, and a few of them actually.
Yeah.
To wait for that one. This one. This is the one he's talking about.
Yes. On the previous
But
room, it is a bit... I was going to say, it is a bit faster to use the yo-yos if you're in the right positions for it, but if you're not, then, the cleats work just as well.
Alright. This is Without question, my least favorite boss in the game.
It is a very weird boss. Broken Joe, you're required to use the horse hides or the baseballs there in order to actually damage the boss. Nothing else damages him. So you just gotta wait until he opens his mouth and keep going at him.
2 cycles, perfect.
Yeah,
I'll
that's good.
take that. I will gladly take that.
If you time it right between the snakes, you can get 2 hits in between each one of them and get a 1 cycle on it, but it's probably one of the harder things to learn in the game, honestly.
Yeah.
But a 2 cycle is not bad at all.
Oh, for me? Oh, that was like 1.5 cycles. That's like a PB.
Yeah, great.
Hey, I'll take it. God, chill out, Bug. I don't think so, man. That death I took in 3-3 was not was not very fun. I don't think a PB's in the cards for me.
So here we have the elusive 4th and gray bowling ball. We saw 3 of them in Chapter 5. This one is having a bit of a hard time, though. What's unique to 6-2 is instead of going up top, we actually have to go to the right. And it's the only dungeon that does this. And I have definitely walked up into the other room out of muscle memory for every other dungeon just to walk up. Here's a really cool weapon with the shurikens. You throw it and you split it. The 2 things at once. A lot of cool weapon ideas in this game.
Nice pattern from those bugs there. I'll take that.
Mm-hmm. Here we just need to kill the back 2.
I decided to kill all of them for good measure.
Sure. This is one of my least favorite rooms in the game.
Oh,
the
same.
biter room is awful. That was really, really good. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, that was fantastic on those patterns.
Yeah.
So those balls that are floating around are like the bubbles in Zelda. You take a hit and you can't damage anything for quite a long period of time.
It's like 10 seconds.
So that boss is a lot less scary than it looks.
Yeah.
If
If your mash timing is good.
Yeah, well, and again, you don't want to quite be mashing. It looks like it is,
Right.
but you're
Quote
just
unquote.
slightly,
mashing.
yeah, just slightly under it. I guess it still is a mash, but it just has to be at a certain interval. But even then, right there, the hoodoo doll would have done a second attack before anything else happened.
Okay.
Rhythmic mashing is a good way to put it, yes. So if you walk through here at the right intervals as well, you can
Yeah.
time it on your way up. That's still pretty
Did
good.
not do, but that's fine.
I don't blame you for going to the right, taking the time.
Yeah, just, marathon run.
Yeah, I do not blame you at all for that. It is very easy to walk up and then just take a hit from that guy. You can kill him as he's, still walking down from one tile to the other, which is what you want to do, but you can just as easily have him walk one tile to the right, and then you're taking damage.
Perfect.
Yeah, that
Alright.
was a very good hoodoo doll fight.
So
But
you get
that's
that
not
victory
actually...
music, right?
Yeah,
Everything's cool, right?
everything is great. We have absolutely not defeated the boss.
Shit. Stop it. No. No. That's got to be the worst shooting patterns that I've gotten from that boss ever. I nearly went from full health to death there. That's crazy. That was really scary.
Yeah. But we're alive, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
Not to mention, you're out of this, so it doesn't matter if you're at low health.
Yeah. Yeah. We're good.
I'm gonna remind you now. Hold right.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
The story is complicated. That's good. That's good, Uncle. You don't need to repeat it.
So, yeah, we are finally, after all this time of wandering our way through the tropics without any supervision of any sort, finding our uncle in a random cave. You tell the story, blah, blah. Wait, this is StarTropics too.
Okay, we got it. We got it.
All right. Congrats on holding right, man. I'm proud
Thank
of you.
you.
As you can see, you would lose a lot of time here if you did not hold right and chose no for the text box.
Yeah. Like that whole thing repeats.
This right here has no input. It does that for you automatically.
Yep. Chapter 7.
7-1. So we are now 59 minutes on this speed run, and we have just reached the run killer of the hour and 10-minute run.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean,
This
with
is the
this being a marathon setting, I mean...
Are you going to go up and...
Oh, I'm absolutely getting Vitamin X.
Okay, okay. So, yeah, he's going to take the much easier way out of this dungeon.
Yeah.
It's going to cost him quite a bit of time, but...
It's about 25 seconds.
Yeah. To get this Vitamin X here and get full health. And you'll see why it's quite difficult otherwise. So normally we wouldn't actually go and grab that, just because it's super far out of... we'd run straight to the end. This is the shortest dungeon of the game, and absolutely the scariest. Take a couple of teleporters.
Here's where it starts.
Yep. Okay, pass the first one.
Yep.
These guys kind of walk randomly around, and they fire quite often.
Okay.
And deal a lot of damage.
Oh, beautiful. Just go, 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 go. Nice.
Yeah, Vitamin X definitely helped there. So,
Sure.
If you absolutely must take damage from them, you want to take damage from the bullets. They deal less damage than the contact damage. And it is possible to get through here without having the shooting star, but it's like extremely rare to get a pattern that allows you to go through it. Because without the shooting star, those guys on the speeder bikes, I guess you could call it, those troopers take 2 hits with the yo-yo, but they only take 1 hit with the shooting star. Plus, the shooting star also has the extra range to it, so you can hit them from afar. It's extremely important that you have the shooting star health.
Come on. Come on.
Weird pattern.
No kidding. Okay, good. We're done. All right, 7-1 complete.
Yeah.
That's the key part. 7-1 complete. Yeah.
7-1 is, yeah, that's the run killer.
Even
Shortest...
my commentary is exhaling. That should underscore just how stressful that dungeon is.
Yep. And you had it with Vitamin X still.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, if you play this casually, you're supposed to get lost through the stage and find a whole bunch of items that'll help you. But if you know where to go, it's really, really short and you just have nothing to work with instead.
Yep. All right, so by getting that cube, we also gained our third and final regular weapon, which is the Supernova.
Yes.
You need at least 11 hearts to use it, or essentially, you need the top row of hearts to be full. That's the kind of the easy way to visualize it.
Does even more damage, and it has full screen clearance, so it's extremely useful.
Yes.
However, it does attack slower than the ray gun, so there are instances where we will want to use the ray gun because we can actually get more damage output out of it instead.
This next room is awful.
Yeah, this is a really tricky room to navigate.
Good.
Okay, still got a supernova, that's really good. Here we're gonna hope that these things cooperate. Sometimes they like to go onto the tile next to the one that you actually can shoot them from.
Okay, well, at least we got it done.
Yep. We're gonna get some more vitamin X. Remember to take your vitamins, kids.
Yes. What was it? Take your vitamins, say your prayers.
I don't know.
No, it was what Hulk Hogan told the kids. Oh, shoot, I didn't want to take that.
I don't know it, unfortunately.
Okay, that's fine.
These troopers right here can kind of be jerks. You want to stand diagonal from them, and that's the best position that will put them to where you can hit them afterwards. Because they will generally walk adjacent to you after that, but otherwise they tend to run away. Here we have the gold trooper, or fat bot, I guess you could say.
That's a little safer way to do it. There is a faster way. You can actually... So I was moving in a particular way so that I didn't really line up with him vertically, because if you do, then he charges down on you and shoots a bunch. Oh my god, I'm like, oh, okay, good.
Yeah, you'll be fine. One hit's fine. As long as you're buffering.
Yeah.
Fun movement through this spot right here. Are you gonna go for the quick kill?
I'm gonna try.
You do have 3 instead of 4.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, 1 hit off. That's okay.
That's a very tricky quick kill to get.
Yeah, so shoutouts to Nadua who discovered that. But if you time your shots correctly to where you are hitting the last, you jump on the switch to make the switch on the left appear. As soon as you jump off of that one to go hit the one on the left, you fire your final shot at Osteroid, is what he's called. And it'll stun him backward long enough that if you go hit the switch, it'll drop the floor out from underneath him, instead of having to have him jump forward and push him back again.
Yeah.
They give the illusion that you are required... that is the long way.
Oh my god, you're right. Oh, Jesus.
I was like, I don't know where you're going.
Oh, man. Okay. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Spaced out there.
Um,
It's late.
so, yeah, it is. So the Osteroid, they try to give the illusion that you can't kill him. You actually can if you have him stun locked in a certain spot. It's just a lot of health.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it, no. So yeah, as Bug Doctor is saying, we need everybody in chat to guess how many hands. We're gonna play a little game. How many hands?
Yeah, it can
personally,
be
I always like
0 to infinity.
Mm-hmm. I forget what the record is. Last I checked, it was 18 in a run.
18?
Yeah. So someone had, I forget, and I think it might have been Fulco that got it, but yeah, 18, if I remember right, is the record. Of course, you want to get no hands. No hands is the fastest because hands waste time. So on this.
This is just a super fun little tidbit here. Our health is filling all the way to full.
Yeah.
Which is super cool because there's no more dungeons in the rest of Chapter 7. Once we start Chapter 8, we go back down to 3 hearts. So the refill there is completely pointless.
Useless. Yeah, it's stupid. So yeah, we're gonna now fight a boss immediately in Chapter 8. There are 3 bosses, essentially. This is the final chapter as well. So start getting ready for the end game here. But Zoda, as we've been chasing this whole time, the one that abducted our uncle, the first instance of Zoda that we fight immediately, he either has his head or hands appear. The head is the only thing you can damage, so it's a matter of how many hands waste the time. The average is 4, so we shall see. Also, just in time for the most important line of the game.
Jam bananas into your ears.
Jam bananas in your ears. Because that is the logical thing to do when you have something mind reading you. Also, that Zoda right there does no damage to you.
Okay. 1.
So how many hands? 1 hand is always my guess.
Okay. All right. Well, we're on track for that now. Oh my goodness, go! I do not want him to come down into my business.
The other thing here.
Looking good.
Am I gonna get the 1 hand? Am I looking good?
Looking good.
Oh
no, there's number 2.
Oh man, all right. Who knows how long?
It'll be 2. Okay.
2. Okay, 2 hands. Who gets 2 hands? You win. Bananas in your ears.
Yeah.
But what was I saying? I don't even remember. How the fight works. Most people, you see them try to unload into Zoda when they can damage him. You don't want to do that. It actually wastes time. He only takes damage from a single hit, and it doesn't even matter what the source is. It's just 1 hit, and you have 4 times that you have to hit him.
Oh my god, I thought he was going to hit me.
Oh, you got the good pattern, though.
Did, yeah. All right.
Yeah, you want to have him jump onto the right side there instead of the left, but it's okay if he does on the left, just a slight loss in time. So upcoming is the second fight, the core, as I call it, the reactor core. Did we get a 3rd star? No, good. Ooh, that trooper is a jerk. So you can 1 cycle the core. The alien trooper kind of screwed that up for him, though.
Good, 2 cycles.
2
we'll take it.
It's fine. So if the alien hadn't, shot at him, he could have timed it and gotten a single cycle out of it. Those stars at the bottom also usually only give 2, but sometimes they give 3, so you just have to be aware whenever the sides open. So now we're on to the final boss fight, so get ready on time. Should be coming up here in a couple minutes, if that.
Ah, shoot. No credit skip.
No credit skip, yep. And I'll explain that in a minute. I'll wait till you're done fighting.
Yeah. Come on. Oh, no.
What a jerk.
No way. Dude, this is a speed run, right? So one thing I guess we'll point out is that if you make body contact with this boss, it is instant death.
Yes.
Which is why we were being so careful to not have it jump on top of me.
And yeah, get ready on time.
Oh, that's me, actually.
Oh, you have it yourself?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There we go.
That's time.
Mid 111, underestimate. I'm happy with that.
You gonna finish out the game?
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep going until somebody tells me
say.
that I am done. So so
yeah.
yeah, go ahead and explain the credits, the credit warp.
Yeah, so we are forced to, in this game, stop time on Zoda's death. There actually is another minute or 2 of the game left. So we're just gonna play that out for you until they tell us to stop. But the credits warp, there is a glitch involved that those little spider spawns that you saw Zoda vomit out, if he vomits 2 of them out, then the glitch doesn't work. But if you manage to get over to him quickly enough and he hasn't spit those out, and you kill him, then it warps you straight to the credits as soon as he has died, skipping this whole section right here. So we were forced to split there instead of talking to the chief like we normally would otherwise, just to keep things fair for everyone. It's a weird thing. You can, for the first few seconds, it's uncontrolled because you can't do anything until you get over to Zoda. But once you are near Zoda and you're within like a 2-tile distance of him, he will never ever spit out the spawn again.
Right.
So if you manage to get over there and you got lucky, he never spit those out, then you can force the credits skip at that point. But until that point, you can't control anything about it.
One more shout out to Zarek for Dolphin Homie saving the day.
As far as the rest of the game goes, we got like another 30 seconds. Though I implore you to drink the cola. You always drink the cola.
Oh, where is it? I forget.
Talk to Babu.
Babu. That's
You drink some cola, you feel much better.
all right.
All right, so that's where time would be otherwise upon entering the hut. But again, we're forced in this situation to do it on kill instead. So that's StarTropics 1.
That is indeed StarTropics 1. So, yeah, so what we do is, so the 3 magic cubes that we got from the
seizure warning.
photosensitivity warning here, there is a bit of
Seizure
very
warning.
rapid flashing here. So, just you are warned. But anyway, we join the 3 magic cubes, and they start to flash very quickly, and they transform into these 7 outer space children called the
I just wanna-
Argonians.
I just want to give a shout out to the fawns on the top left there.
Yeah. Hey. Also, shout out to the one on the right that's like derping up to the right, like, hey, what's that?
Yeah.
So these kids come pop out of the cubes, and they're like, hey, you saved us. And the island chief's like, yeah, you can live here now. And she's like, oh, thanks. That's really cool of you. We really appreciate it. And then this is why they call it StarTropics, because you're looking at a tropical island, and you zoom out, and you zoom out, and you zoom out, and you zoom out, and you zoom out until you are among the stars.
What likely was the thing is that they had with the shaman, as you meet at the beginning, whenever you game over, she greets you, and her whole thing is guiding you under the Southern Cross. And so that
Right.
was supposed to be the whole purpose of that, but they never really incorporated that into the story either. So that's why it's called StarTropics, but they never really did anything with it.
Right. So, so again, that whole cutscene there that you saw, well, not cutscene, but really, gameplay where you have to walk through the ship, get the 3rd cube, after you regain control after the dolphin rescues you. Then you have to walk into the village and walk into the hut, and then control, quote unquote, is essentially done. I mean, you need to clear text boxes. But other than that, that is it. Now, if we would do the credit warp, then we would get to
This
this
right
point right here. We're going to see a montage of scenes from throughout the game in progression. The credit warp would bring you right to this montage without music.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always watch the credits. This game has one of the best credits like ever.
Yes.
Well, if I don't get the credits warp, I 100% guarantee you I will watch the credits every single time.
Yeah. I love the cute little dolphins there. That's my favorite one.
Yeah, man.
So thank you everyone for the GGs. This was a lot of fun. This is only the 2nd time I've ever run it in a marathon setting, and to get a mid 111, I'm pretty happy with that. So that is cool. Also, big shout out to my commentary, Terex here. Thank you very much for joining. I know it's late, but thank you very much for
I
joining.
got work in the morning.
Yeah, and helping me through this so that I could kind of concentrate on the game. And yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed that. If you enjoyed this game and or the runner himself, if you would give me a follow, that is something I would greatly appreciate. I do all kinds of fun retro speedruns on my channel. So yeah. This is so okay. That's a reference to the letter that Terex was talking about, where you get it slightly damp, and then it says the 747 megahertz, and that's what you enter into your sub. So yeah. Alrighty. I think at this point, I think we're cool to switch on over, but we still obviously got plenty more marathon left. So by all means, stick around for more speedruns. For my commentary partner, Terex, thank you so much. I've been Vonibon. Thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, take care, folks.
Later.
And